I was working on writing up my description and design choices for this Weebly, I realized I was just going to graffiti this page with this huge wall of text, and that just didn't seem like a very good aesthetic choice. I figured I'd instead offer a brief introductory note about the design choices here and the ways those choices tease out some of the tensions I have, and how teacher education is framed, at least how my experience has framed it. Um, and so you can see these clusters of how I see time spent in my past semester, right? So you can see some pictures from teaching and teaching methods courses. You can see lots of time that I've spent in meetings, both in person and sitting in front of a screen like this, communicating with other people. You can see my time visiting high school and middle school classrooms. You can see my half-hearted attempts at times getting thwarted. You can see the kind of catch-all space for travel, for online engagement, for gaming research, losing where I'm supposed to park, and so now I take a photo to remind myself. And you can see the space for reflection, right? I think it's important that this has been bookended by that time that I spend with my dogs daily, and trying to carve out that time for clearing our minds, for being human and engaging in these human processes of understanding who we are at any given time. Across all of these, I think my concern is that we replicate the same challenge that we see with teachers oftentimes, and by we I mean me. I should own this for myself. That teachers are content delivery robots, and oftentimes when we think about teacher educators, it seems like our space for doing that work is oftentimes within these singular courses, or working with student teachers, and there's such a more diverse space for demonstrating what that kind of scholarship looks like and what that kind of educational opportunity looks like. Um, and so those times you spend in DC, the time that you're spending online sending tweets, I think all of these are forms of public scholarship and public engagement that we need to think about. At the same time, I think there's a through line across all of these pieces, right? So the things I'm thinking about as I'm walking my dogs that ultimately turn into these voice memos that are woven throughout this page, are oftentimes the same types of things and the same types of tensions that I'm seeing in meetings, and they're the same types of tensions that I'm seeing as I'm participating in other kinds of online spaces and working with teachers in other kinds of capacities. Um, I think all of this work should be demonstrating to the teaching profession that educators aren't just people in classrooms, but that they live and breathe in these outside spaces. We need to be framing teachers as experts and advocates, just as we do as researchers, right? So while we're validated for the kinds of ways that service and teaching is combined and bundled with our scholarship, I think we need to also be thinking about that model for the teachers that we're working with, right? So in that sense, there is no binary on and off of being a teacher educator. You don't turn it off at night, right? This is part of the process that I live with, right? And while I turn off when my wife and I are watching bad reality TV or something like that, we need to be thinking about these regularly ongoing forms of engagement that are marinating with us at any given time. At the same time, it's easy to fill up the hours of our day, right, with the teacher educational responsibilities that we have, and so again, bookending this with my dogs is pausing and thinking about reflection, time for breathing, time for not just being a researcher, and trying to figure out how do we blend these pieces, right? I don't carry a different version of myself into this space when I'm at home and I'm not working. But I need to figure out how do we balance all of these pieces. Um, for me, this Weebly has clustered things and trying to figure out how do I carve out the spaces and times for reading, for music, for laughing, for hanging out with friends. All of that other stuff is invisible on this Weebly, but I think it also ultimately contributes and funnels into these spaces too. Thanks for listening.